can you share a little bit about your experience coming into wealth?
I went from not being able to have a $500 credit card 7 years ago, 8 years ago, to now have like a $3 million line of credit with a lender. So it's definitely been a lot of changes that I am just very thankful God made me go through all that.
Welcome back to another episode of Simplifying Social Media. I'm your host, Steffanie Hall, owner of The Simple Touches, and today I'm joined by Steffanie Battles, Realtor in Virginia. Thank you so much. Welcome to the pod, Steffanie.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I'm so excited to pick your brain because you have some outrageous numbers that we're going to get into. But first, let's talk a little bit about you. So tell us your team size, your average production for context.
So I'm a solo agent and I've been one since November from last year. So since I became a solo agent, I've done about $14 million in sales. This year, since January, I'm at 10.5 closed, and I have 3 million pending right now and like 3.5 million coming in listings.
And what's like an average listing price that you do in Virginia?
I would say our average will be between like 300 and 350.
Okay, perfect. And before that, you were on a team, is that correct?
Yes, I was on a team the first 2 years of my career until November.
What was like, if you want to share about that, what was your turning point, or what made you decide to go solo?
So I loved the experience of being on a team at the beginning, especially when I was like fresh out of real estate school that like absolutely nothing about real estate. It was like, I think that was a very smart decision for me to go into a team opposed to trying to conquer everything by myself. It gave me a really good, solid foundation on how to process a whole entire transaction, and it taught me what I needed to learn to be able to take good care of a client. Then after that, I went on to another team just because I felt like I was growing at a faster pace than the team that I was a part of was. So I felt like I needed something a little bit bigger that would allow me to spread into the other avenues that I wanted to get into, like investing. So I got into a team that was just literally starting. Like there was an LLC created, and that was about it. So it was a few of us that we decided to join this person. And it was really good at the beginning. Then, sometimes when you start just adding too many people, just the wrong things like start happening. And it just became heavy to where it was too much noise and it was taking me away from my goals and what I wanted to do. So that's when I was like, instead of me trying to find another team, I'm just going to focus solely on my business and how to grow my own entire like business and my goals instead of focusing on other ones. So that's when I decided to just come out of the team and just go by myself.
And I love that real estate has been such an avenue for you to reach your goals. Before we talk about social media specifically, can you share a little bit about your experience coming into wealth and coming into the United States and how that has like evolved for you in your life?
It has been a lot of like up and down kind of like situations in my life. I moved to the States back in 2012. I came fresh from Colombia, pregnant. I was 7 months old. I was 7 months pregnant. And I came here with my then husband. He's from Puerto Rico, so he was here. I met him in Colombia. He brought me here. But like usual long distance relationships, everything pictured to be perfect. But once I came here, everything just completely changed. So my mom got diagnosed with cancer within like 3 months of me moving here. So it was a really rocky beginning for me. I was working for a cleaning company. Then I got into hosting at a restaurant. Then I was a server, bartender. And then I was doing like giving tastings at the ABC stores. So definitely never thought that I was going to be where I'm at today. It's been a lot of changes, but if something helped me to shape me to do what I'm doing today was going through all those like very difficult moments in my life, sometimes not knowing how I'm going to pay a rent, how I'm going to provide for my kid. It's taught me the value of money in a way that I feel like a lot of people does not ever get to grasp. So when I started like getting into real estate and, making a little bit of money, I was like, well, I can't just blow it. I've never had the opportunity of making this. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with the skill that I'm learning. And I need to use this money to make me more so that I never go back to where I was before. And, all of that just has brought me to where I'm at today, where I flip houses as well. So I've done 14 houses. I'm actually under construction on 3 more right now. I work with a lot of investors. I went from not being able to have a $500 credit card 7 years ago, 8 years ago, to now have like a $3 million line of credit with a lender. So it's definitely been a lot of changes that I am just very thankful God made me go through all that, because I don't blow my money. Like, I'm very smart when it comes to, and very careful with what I do with my money.
Thank you so much for sharing. Your story gives me chills. I'm very inspired by you. And I think,
Thank you.
real estate is such an avenue for wealth, paired with social media, which, I mean,
Yes.
social media has opened up so many doors for a lot of us who are wanting to grow businesses. We have the ability to reach hundreds, thousands, millions of people, with a click of a button right now, and that's unheard of. So let's dive into that a little bit, because before we hopped on this call, you had mentioned, I don't have quote unquote that many followers, but I'm doing this amount of deals. And I said, you know what, like, that's what I want to talk about, because followers, schmollowers, like the money, yes. The money is is what matters, right? Like, that's what we want to focus on. So yes. Let's talk about it. So what role does social media play in your business?
So when I decided to, to get into being a solo agent, I was like, I need to figure this out, because cold calling is just not for me. Like, I cannot deal with calling someone that's probably drinking their coffee at 8 o'clock in the morning to ruin their day, telling them that I want to buy their house for cash, or if they want to list their house with me, like, out of the blue. So I tried it for a little bit, and I just couldn't deal with the, curse me and stuff like that over the phone, go die. So I was like, I need to figure out a way where I can have people reach out to me and wanting to work with me because they like what they see in me as a person. And what better than, social media, my Instagram. It's been a lot of work. I just started really focusing on growing my account last year in November. I think when this change happened in my career, I was probably like maybe 1,000 followers. So it's been a slow and steady growth. I'm at 2,800 followers right now, but ever since November that I started like dialing in and like showing who I am, and I share a lot in my stories. I talk to people like I have 100,000 followers, and I share my day in and out, and I show who I am. I show my goofiness. I show my accent. Like, I'm not scared of, pronouncing a word the way that it shouldn't be, and just, laughing about it, or just my little crazy typos, because I'm like always on the go and I'm just typing fast something on a story, and then I just share it without even reading, and sometimes I don't even know what I'm saying. And, and I feel like a lot of people has resonated with that. So since I started like just being me, the real me, I'm a giver. I care for my people. And I started sharing that on my social media. I feel like a lot of my followers love to see my closing videos, because I always bring my video guy, decorate their house, bring them champagne. I make them feel like a celebrity, give them gifts, and they love that. And when I share those type of videos, the answer that I get the most from people is like, I can't wait for my turn. I can't wait for this to be me. Whenever I want to buy a house, I'm definitely going to do it with you. This is so amazing. And this like makes them feel like I want to be there. And it may be inspiring them to get their ducks in a row for them to be able to purchase a house. And then they're going to have me in first place in their minds, because they're like, I want to feel that way. And I already know she does it, and I already know and see how she treats her clients, and I want to be there with her. So I feel like oversharing all of this stuff in my social media has helped me with a small count of followers to convert a lot of them into, my buyers. And this year I've been able to close 11 transactions. And currently I'm working with 2 buyers that are pre-approved. One is under contract, and I have a listing and a buyer under contract that have come from social media. So once this closes, I'm at 15 in less than a year. And that, if we make the math, is easily over 100 grand.
In 7 months. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And what I heard from that is just like putting it all out there, like not caring what they're going to say, how they're going to take it. Like, just here it is. This is who I am and what I'm doing. And I think that is the hardest part for people. So what advice would you give someone who's like really hesitant or scared of how they look or scared of how they sound or just like really second guessing putting themselves out there?
I was there last year. I was always like, oh, I need to look perfect. I need to do my hair. I need to do my makeup. And I can't show up like this. What's people going to think? And I need to be so smart and only post, the 3 tips for buying, for selling, and what an EMD is, and all this like stuff that you can Google, right? But once I decided to be just like, I'm going to let it go. This is who I am. And I share all the time on my stories. Like, you don't get on me this super cute looking, dressed up in heels realtor that's going to be taking you walking all these houses in like heels all the time and with her hair perfect and the makeup fully done. You get me like this most of the time with my crazy hair and obviously smelling good, but so most of the time like leggings and tennis shoes or jeans and tennis shoes, and that's just who I am as a person. I don't focus so much on what I can look or what other people look, but more so in what I can give you and what I can get in result from you as a person. And I feel like that was a turning point when I realized that looks don't matter. What matters is what you can do for people and the value that you're giving them. And the value is not on teaching what an earnest money deposit is. The value is not teaching them what they need to be decluttering their house for their listing pictures, is what you can do for them as a person. And showing, I feel like one of the biggest mistakes us realtors make is that we start showing that we're so thirsty for a commission check that we forget that we're in this business to serve people from our hearts and to take them from thinking I can buy a house to, wow, Steffanie truly did help me to get to where I needed to buy a house. So I've had clients that have been like, girl, no, my credit is like 550. I'm like, well, you never know till you try. And I literally just closed a buyer 2 months, like a month and a half ago from Instagram. They thought their credit was terrible. I was like, we need to try. Like you don't know what you don't know. We ran the credit 695 and we got them closed within 45 days. So, I've had others that have needed a lot of credit repair and we've worked through it, So I feel like you just need to get out of that bubble of you need to be perfect and know it all. Just show who you are as a human. And I promise you, everybody has their little community somewhere, and we all start from zero. We, especially newer agents, when we start, we really don't have anything to showcase, right? And one of the things that I see a lot of agents asking me is like, well, what can I share about on my Instagram if I haven't had any closings? Because I just became licensed 3 months ago. Share your day, share your life. What are you doing to get business? What are you doing to learn? How do you interact with your people? Share about your family. People love to get to know your kids. They love to get your family. They love to get to see what you like to do and who you are as a person. And that's when they're going to connect with you and they're going to stay there. Once you make them like you as a person, then you're already earning their trust and loyalty, and they're going to stay there. They're going to think only about you when they need to buy or sell a house.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of the algorithm too, is the algorithm's going to help you find people like you, but it can't do that if you don't post about yourself.
Yes.
So sharing about your day and sharing about your kids and sharing that you love Pilates and sharing that you have a dog, those are all little clues that you're going to give the algorithm to help find other people just like you. And then they're going to be like, oh my God, this is like my soul sister. Yeah, I'm going to use her when I need a realtor. I love that.
Yes, because for example, in my case, I don't really share that much it's given because of the accent and I talk about me being from Colombia, but I don't really overshare me talking in Spanish or a bunch of things in Spanish, but somehow I've gotten out of my, 11 closings, 5 of them were Spanish speaking people that did not know any English. So, and somehow Instagram brought them to me. And this is just from me saying that I'm from Colombia, that I'm an immigrant, little stuff like that. So you're definitely right on the algorithm bringing the people that should be there for you.
Yeah. And it's crazy how it does it so well. Like, it just, there's so many little data points. We don't even understand it as humans.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you are getting ready to make a piece of content, what does that look like on your end? What goes through your mind when you're getting ready to post something?
It's more so when I have like events that mark me or like stories that I can share. Like I do the typical just listed, just sold, under contract on my stories, but you're never going to see that on my feed. Like I share a closing video of my client walking to their house, shaking their champagne and stuff like that. But you're never going to see me with the typical just listed sold on my feed. I feel like that's boring. That doesn't show anything. There's no emotions attached to that. Oh yeah, great. She sold another house, right? Who cares? Great for you. Congratulations. But when you post a story of like, my client tried to buy a house for 3 years with another agent and she couldn't. And here she is 45 days later working with me and she's closing, walking into her brand new home. That makes a big difference. So I try to always like tell stories, and now I'm understanding how to get people to connect with me at a deeper level other than just I'm a realtor and I flip houses. I want people to connect with me and stay there. So lately I've been sharing about my past, about my beginnings here, about what it's been for me to go through all these transitions in my life, how I've gotten to where I'm at right now. And I feel like a lot of people has connected with me for that. And obviously, sharing how I've been able to, in almost 3 years, it's going to be 3 years in October, I've sold $33 million worth of real estate as a person that had no background whatsoever in real estate. That's over here in our state. That's 110 closings. That's a lot of volume for an agent. Yeah. And so lately I've gotten also a lot of agents like taking their interest into like, how have you been able to do all this? And now I'm in a point where I also want to try to like show people that it's possible. It doesn't matter where you're starting. I had no huge sphere of influence for me to be like, oh yeah, I've sold 50 houses to my friends, because it's not true. I don't have any family here but my husband and my kids. So I really had like no help whatsoever behind me. Nothing, not a significant other that could give me, leads, like just and nothing. It was just me by myself, just starting from zero.
This podcast episode is brought to you by My Sign Shine. Brighten up your signage with My Sign Shine. Attachable to any sign, My Sign Shine units are easy to install with command outdoor strips. Just peel, stick, and let the solar-powered lights illuminate your signs from dusk till dawn. No wires, no hassle, just vibrant visibility for your signage. Choose from our starter to mega packs and let your signs shine bright. Visit mysignshine.com and use code TAMANY10 for 10% off. That's TAMANY10 for 10% off.
And I feel like, now when I post content, I want to be able to show people that it is possible to come from wherever you are into a better something, and for all my clients to see that it is possible to get better in life, and that where you're at right now doesn't for sure say where you're going to be tomorrow. Like life can change so fast, and through my experiences I show we can do this together. We work as a team together. We're going to get you to wherever you need to be. Wherever you need to be, we're going to do this together. And I love to story tell about all of this, because it's just, you would think that we don't have content to share, but if you sit for 5 minutes and you think, what's your life being in 2024? You can come up with a lot of content because I'm sure you have a lot of stories. And that connects people with you a lot.
Yeah. People love stories, beginning, middle, and an end.
Yes.
I feel like that's a skill from school that we all have forgotten how to do.
Yes.
So you mentioned that you are starting to share more about your past and your struggles and opening up a little bit more. Are you doing that in your stories or in reels?
Both. I do it
Okay.
on my, I've shared, like today I shared one. It's a really cute one. It's a picture of me with my son back when he was like a year and a half. And then I bought him a duplex yesterday, and it's the first investment property that I buy for my kids. And this is for him only.
Oh.
So my goal is to buy 3 a year, one for each of my kiddos, but he's the oldest. So obviously I started by him. And so it was just a picture of us in the past saying, I'm 23, mentally and physically abused, trying to like provide for me and my son. And then me at 35 buying my son his first investment property. And then I told the story, and I feel like my followers have connected so nicely with that. It has like a bunch of comments and likes, and it's just because I'm being transparent. I haven't had it this good forever. I come from counting pennies to be able to pay my rent. Like, it's not being this easy, it's not being this good. And I feel like when you have a client that sees like, oh my gosh, she's worked so hard to get to where she's at right now, this is the person I need to be with. Someone that shows me the true her without holding anything back. And in our generation, I feel like that is more than how much volume you can sell, more than how much money you have, more than how many houses you sell a month, is what are you doing to impact all these lives, right? And that is what matters the most in our career. And I feel like as agents, we need to steer away from, I'm a killer agent and I sell. Obviously, that gets attention. A seller that needs to sell their $1 million house is going to prefer to sell it with someone that's sold a bunch of houses and someone that's brand new. But when you're talking social media, people is going to connect with you in a genuine level of who are you and who I am, and we have these certain things in common.
What I'm hearing a lot from your different stories is real estate is the vehicle, but take that out of the equation and focus more on the people.
Yes.
And that I think is huge, because I follow a bunch of realtors because obviously that's my target audience, and it's all houses, vocabulary, more houses, and it's just, I don't see a lot about the people, and that's why we're in business, right?
Yes.
Like, that's why we're doing what we're doing, and that's huge.
Yes.
And emotion sells.
Oh, 100%.
So
we wouldn't be where we are without the people, right? At the end of the story, you're helping them to get to where they need to be, and you're getting a benefit out of helping them. But I feel like they have to come first before anything else. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've had to help clients to be able to get to closing, with things that I shouldn't, but I do it because for me, they come first. And if I have to sacrifice some of what's coming to me in benefit of helping them, I'm more than willing to do that. And part of the reason why I think people say realtors make too much for nothing and realtors only care about money, it's because sometimes we show us as that, and if you show that there is a different side of real estate, which is the people that is helping us get to where we want to be, careers can change a lot and your business can transform. And when you start pouring back into your community, it changes your business in such a different way, and it becomes more rewarding than just making money left and right just because.
That's so powerful. Love it. We've talked about creating content. So other than the closing videos with the champagne, is there any other way that you're showcasing your clients on your social media accounts?
When I go on showings, I show about those. I do testimony videos that I share on my stories as well of what their experience has been working with me. And now I'm going to start adding those videos to my highlights so that people have something to reference to, not something that somebody wrote, just someone a face and a body and a voice saying what they felt at the moment. I feel like that goes a long way, other than just reading a review that who knows is that if it's even like real, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Is there any kind of content that you like refuse to post? I know you said you would never put like a just listed on your grid. Is there anything that you like see being posted by whoever that you're like, I would never do that?
How much money they make. I cringe. I cringe. I'm like, why? There's so many people, maybe because of being in the position where I haven't had anything, and I could just think back to how I would feel not having enough to pay my rent and then see somebody flashing of making $100,000 in a month, that I'm like, my heart hurts thinking about that person. So I just, and I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna cry. I could never, that's something that I don't think I would ever find myself posting about. You know, how much I made as a realtor, 40,000, 50,000, 100,000. I feel like that's just so uncalled for. Nobody needs to know your finances for them to know that you're doing great.
Yeah.
You know, that's such a personal thing that should stay within you, that I feel like that's something that I could never in my life do. Like, I've gotten as far as saying I make multiple six figures, and I feel like that is as far as I could go. And even at that, I was telling one of my mentors yesterday, like, I cannot watch that video. It's like making me feel like I want to just take it down. And she was like, it's okay. Just, you know, you're not going deep into craziness, you know, just leave it there, because it's an accomplishment from someone that was making $28,000 5 years ago, 3 years ago, to be to where you're at right now. So it's not, you're not doing it in a bragging way. You're just showing that it's possible to evolve and get to a better position through hard work. But I feel like that's as far as I could go. Like, I could never get into details. I don't like that.
That's funny. I agree with that to an extent as well. Personal details
yes
belong in the personal. Yeah,
have that conversation with your family, with your friends, with your husband. But the world doesn't need to know that you made $42,570 on March of 2024. How about you say, I helped 4 families that were never gonna be able to close on a house in March. Yes.
Much better.
Yes.
So when a follower or a viewer is interested in working with you, what does that look like? Are they DMing you? Do you have like a freebie set up? But what does that look like for you?
So I have a free buyer's guide that it does have the typical, this is the steps of buying a house, but it also has like this is what it looks like working with me, and kind of like this is what the process should be. And so usually a lot of times I see them downloading that guide. Like right now, one of my buyers that is under contract, she downloaded the guide 3 times before she reached out to me. So on the 3rd one, I reached out to her, and then she was like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I just lost it so many times. But it's just so great to read it. And I've been watching you for 7 months, and your content is great, and I would love to work with you. And then I meet with them, I take them out on a coffee date, or we just do a quick call. And then I get them, pre-approved, and I always bring like a handwritten thank you card the first time I met them, and a little Starbucks gift card, and I always say, out of all the realtors that you could have chosen, you chose me. And I am so extremely thankful for that. And I promise you, I'm going to give you my absolute best to take you to where you need to be as fast as possible. And I feel like that people love that. But the initial contact is either my buyer's guide, or they just immediately just DM me. I had another one not too long ago that she was like, oh my gosh, Steph, I've been following you for a year. I love to see your growth. I want you to help me buy a house. I think those are like the contacts that I get, is either a DM or someone downloads my guide and then I reach out to them.
Are you doing any other sources of lead generating activities, or is it pretty much all social media at this point?
At this point, it's all social media, and my referrals are through the roof. I've sold 46 homes this year. which my total production for 2023 was 41. So we still have 5 months into the, left for the year. And a lot has come from referrals. It's crazy.
It's amazing.
Yes, it is.
Super exciting.
Yes. I have one client that has referred me 3 clients already this year, and she closed last year in December.
That's
it's
awesome.
Like, my name is just stuck in their heads, and I love it.
So what's next for you?
I guess for now, I want to obviously continue to grow as an agent, learn more, give more, do more for my people. I feel like there's just so much still that I can learn that I haven't gotten there yet. And then I want to obviously continue to grow my flipping business. My goal is to get to do maybe like 25 a year. And right now I'm kind of like starting to learn how to leverage my systems. I'm hiring a VA. I have a couple buyer agents that they'll help me toggle showings whenever I'm busy, because I'm always running around. And so I feel like having a set system, it's going to be a big difference in my business. And it's going to, I work literally like since the moment I open up my eyes until the moment I go down to sleep at 11 o'clock at night. So I feel like that's going to help me have a little bit more of time to bring back to be with my family. Because obviously something hurts, when you're so busy, your time at home starts hurting a little bit. So I feel like now I want to try to like balance it and have systems to where I'm not taking time and focus away from my business to be with my kids, or vice versa.
Absolutely. Let's end with a last tip or advice for an agent who's been posting consistently on social media for 6 months plus and just not really seeing any leads coming from it. What would you say to that agent?
I would say sit down and look at what you're posting and see if you on the other side of the phone are connecting with what you're reading. Do you get any emotions from what you're seeing? Does it get your attention? Does it touch your heart? Does it make you feel connected? Like truly connected? Because we all just to, when you post just to fill in, like, oh yeah, I'm posting every day, but you're just copying. And there's nothing wrong in copying. Get inspired by other reels 100%, but just twist it to be yours and put your personality to it, put your emotions, put your stories, put your past, and put where you see yourself in the future into that equation. And I feel like it will change a lot of how people looks at you and what you get as a result from that. I am sure that it's just the lack of creating that connection through those reels. Like I said, basic information, anybody will go for that to Google, but when you put something that's going to actually break somebody's mind and be like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think about doing this? Or just look at that person said they were never going to be able to buy a house, and then boom, they bought it. Like, how crazy is this? My situation is so similar to that buyer's situation. Maybe I should reach out, because if that realtor helped that person, I'm sure they can help me. So just, make sure you are showing yourself as you are. Don't think there's like a little box that you have to fit in. We're all a different world in our heads, and there's people just as crazy as us, and they're going to connect with us and with our stories. So, just keep pushing. Don't give up. I know it gets tiring. I know thinking about posting every day is like, oh my goodness gracious, what am I doing? Is this even worth it? I spend, 5 hours in a reel to have 5 views. Like, what is this? But the more you do it, the more people you're going to find that likes you. And it's not easy, because I'm not going to sugarcoat it saying that it's the easiest thing in the world that I've been doing, because it's not. But there's just nothing better on having someone reach out to you because they trust you and want to work with you than, for example, try to convince a CLO lead to work with you when they've been connected probably to another 10 agents.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Me too. Absolutely.
Yeah. They take you on 10 showings and then they just ghost you. Oh, I'm sorry. I had a realtor. I forgot to tell you.
Awesome. Well, where can everybody find you?
My Instagram handle is soldby_Steff, Steff. And I'm always there, just being my goofy me.
I love it. Thanks so much for your time, Steffanie.
Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Simplifying Social Media. Let's stay connected on Instagram at Realtor Social Media Marketing. And if you're interested in working with me, head over to thesimpletouches.com and see all my social media marketing services for real estate agents. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.